tapping out again. She's quitting on her team again. The facts was she had not finished any season. Her rookie year with the Sky, she tapped out. She did not finish with Unrivaled. She tapped out, didn't even show up to the playoff games.
Angel Reese is delusional if she doesn't think that her teammates, don't see what's going on and probably despise her. Because we heard, man, earlier this season,
she's tapping out again. Another season unfinished. Another excuse. But this time, the drama surrounding Angel Reese feels bigger, louder, and harder to ignore than ever before. The player once hyped as the Bayou Barbie, the face of the Chicago Sky, has turned into something far more troubling. Someone fans are calling Meltdown Barbie. The hype promised dominance. The reality, missed games, mysterious injuries, and a growing belief that basketball might not even be her top priority anymore. The story isn't just about injuries or bad luck. It's about a pattern that keeps repeating. A player who was supposed to carry a franchise has instead carried herself straight into controversy after controversy, leaving fans and teammates frustrated. And while Angel Reese is busy posting on Instagram, critics are asking the blunt question, is she even a baller anymore, or just an influencer in sneakers? But that's only the beginning. From lawsuits to locker room chaos, from rivalries that never materialized to teammates allegedly shutting her out completely, this saga has spiraled into something far beyond basketball. And the deeper you look, the more it starts to feel like Angel Reese's career isn't unraveling, it's imploding.
That's it. I've done what I had to do. I don't need to stick around for all this losing. She's been saying her back hurts. Nobody knows anything about the injury. Nobody knows.
Constantly post on Instagram what you're doing. You can constantly post on Instagram your fashion. Like, you could constantly do all of these things where you need your back, except use it on the basketball court.
If there's one thing that defines Angel Reese's professional career so far, it's not dominance, it's not consistency, and it's certainly not leadership. It's quitting. Time and time again, when things get tough, Reese finds a way to disappear. Her rookie year with the Chicago Sky, she didn't finish. She tapped out before the season was over. Then came her big chance in the Unrivaled League, a platform where she could have stamped her name as one of the faces of women's basketball. But when the playoffs rolled around, where was she? Nowhere. She didn't just miss the games. She didn't even show up in street clothes to cheer for her teammates. They went on to win without her, and fans were left asking, how can someone billed as the franchise face vanish at the moment that matters most? And here we are again in the WNBA, where Reese was supposed to rewrite her story. Instead, the same cycle is repeating itself. Another season, another exit strategy. It's become predictable. Fans can almost set their watches to it. When the pressure builds, when her team starts losing, Angel Reese checks out. Even worse, her teammates have to live through it, game after game. Imagine being in that locker room, working through losses, grinding through practices, and watching the person who's supposed to lead you disappear without explanation. Whether she wants to admit it or not, that kind of behavior doesn't just go unnoticed. It breeds resentment, and according to the whispers around the league, that resentment is already boiling over. But the story doesn't stop there, because the excuses that come with each disappearing act, that's where things get even murkier.
And then this season, post All-Star break, it seemed like that is all she cared about. She realized this team stinks. Tyler Marsh is a bum. Jeff P's a bum. They all stink. I'm not taking that away from her.
That Angel Reese basically quit on the team. That's how I feel. That's an opinion, not factual. It looks like it. I think that they are probably not too pleased with her.
When you look at Angel Reese's public image, it feels less like a professional athlete's profile and more like a lifestyle influencer's page. She's everywhere, except on the basketball court. Scroll through her Instagram and you'll see brand deals, Reebok promo shoots, red carpet outfits, and fashion-forward photo shoots. She's posting selfies in designer fits, hyping sneaker drops, and pushing her image as a style icon. But highlights from actual games? Those are few and far between. Fans can't help but notice the imbalance. How is it possible that she has the energy for back-to-back photo shoots, but not for back-to-back games? It's not just the volume of posts, it's the message behind them. Reese seems more invested in curating her social media persona than grinding it out on the court. The Chicago Sky plastered her face on billboards, branded her as the future of the franchise, and invested in her as their centerpiece. But instead of delivering wins, she's delivering Instagram stories. Instead of being Bayou Barbie, the generational star she was hyped to be, she's turning into Meltdown Barbie, a nickname fans have started throwing around with brutal honesty. And here's the thing, clout doesn't win games. Teammates don't care how many likes your post gets when you're not suiting up. Fans don't care about fashion spreads when the scoreboard shows another double-digit loss. And yet, Reese is leaning into this influencer identity more and more, almost as if basketball has become her side hustle instead of her main career. This wouldn't sting as much if the team weren't struggling, but the Sky are drowning in losses, eliminated from playoff contention before summer even hit. While fans are begging for leadership, what they're getting from their supposed star is a disappearing act wrapped in designer clothes. And if that weren't frustrating enough, there's another piece of this puzzle that makes the story even more explosive: the so-called rivalry the WNBA tried so hard to sell.
No matter what, the Chicago Sky will not make it to the playoffs. So whether you show up now or later or earlier, you had to miss enough games so that the blame could not be on you. Especially when Angel Reese is missing these blown layups that literally are costing them games, making all these terrible plays, refusing to pass the ball because she's so bent on keeping up with Caitlin Clark. She's putting she's grabbing the ball and putting it back up.
The WNBA wanted it so badly. Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, the rivalry that was supposed to carry the league into a new era. Two young stars, two larger-than-life personalities, going head-to-head in a battle of the next generation. On paper, it sounded perfect, but in reality, it's been nothing but a one-sided story. Caitlin Clark shows up, she plays through injuries, she sits on the bench when she can, she leads huddles, and she gives her teammates confidence. She signs autographs, embraces fans, and carries herself like the professional face of the league. Every time she steps on the court, she delivers, not just for her team, but for the sport itself. Angel Reese, on the other hand, vanishes. She's skipped rivalry games against the Indiana Fever, the very matchups the league circled on its calendar to draw viewers. She hasn't just avoided playing against Clark, she's avoided even sitting courtside in support of her team. How can you be someone's rival if you're not even in the building? And when the two do face off, the results speak louder than the hype. The Fever are 7-1 against the Sky over the last 2 seasons, including a clean 4-0 sweep this year alone. That's not a rivalry, that's a beatdown. It's Clark dunking Reese's reputation straight into the trash every single time they share a court. Fans see the difference. They see Clark pushing through adversity while Reese hides behind vague excuses. They see Clark being accountable and transparent while Reese disappears. That's why the so-called rivalry has already collapsed under its own weight. Clark is the star, Reese is the storyline. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get more embarrassing for Reese, the drama inside her own team spilled into public view, and it got ugly.
So, we start calling it out. Hey, are you quitting again? It appears you're quitting again just because your team not good. Just like rookie year, once you realize you stood no chance to win rookie of the year, you quit. Tyler Marsh is a bum. Jeff P's a bum. They all stink. I'm not taking that away from her. I'm not blaming her for the higher-ups being trash and the roster being horrible.
If the disappearing acts and questionable injuries weren't enough, Angel Reese's drama has spilled far beyond the hardwood. The situation has gotten so toxic that it's no longer just about basketball. It's about trust, loyalty, and even legal battles. Reports began circulating that the Chicago Sky actually sued their own franchise player for abandoning the team mid-season. Think about how rare and humiliating that is. For a team to take its supposed centerpiece to court, things have to be catastrophic behind the scenes. That's not just a disagreement, that's a soap opera playing out in real life. And then there's the locker room. Rumors say her teammates are so fed up that they've created separate group chats that exclude her completely. Imagine being so disconnected, so disliked, that your own teammates don't even want you in the text thread. That's not leadership, that's a flashing red warning sign. Even the front office couldn't hold their tongue. General manager Jeff P went public, flat out saying he needed to see more from Reese. When your boss has to beg you to do your job in front of cameras, that's as embarrassing as it gets. And the criticism doesn't stop there. Legends of the game have weighed in too. Hall of Famer Lisa Leslie openly ranked Reese as a C-tier player, while putting Caitlin Clark in the A-tier. That's not just internet trolls talking, that's one of the greatest to ever play the game delivering her verdict. The image Reese once tried to build, the villain, the disruptor, the face of women's basketball, is backfiring hard. Instead of being seen as bold and fearless, she's being painted as selfish, toxic, and unreliable. And whether she admits it or not, her own choices have made the target on her back bigger than ever. But here's the twist. For all the drama, for all the chaos, something shocking happened on the court when she wasn't around. The Chicago Sky actually looked better.
She's injured, right? Always injured. It was the wrist, and then rivalry, it was something else. And now, guys, it was her back, well, her leg, then her back. What makes it even worse, guys, she comes back and she says, I want to hoop. Meaning like, okay, I'm done with this, with all of this play around stuff. I think that I'm bored now. I actually miss being on the court. I want to hoop. I want to put on the shorts that, and Angel Reese feeding into this villain narrative, painted a bigger target on her back that she did not necessarily need. Angel Reese could have went a completely different route.
Here's the irony that no one in Chicago wanted to admit at first. When Angel Reese isn't on the floor, the Sky actually look better. It's addition by subtraction, and the numbers and the eye test don't lie. Without her clogging the paint and forcing post-ups, the offense flows smoother. Guards push the tempo, wings cut harder, the ball zips around the court instead of sticking in one player's hands. The bench looks more involved, the team plays with more energy, and the chemistry feels lighter, like a weight has been lifted. Fans have noticed it too. Instead of waiting for Reese to grab a rebound just to pad her stats with another forced putback, they're watching a team that actually plays basketball as a unit. It's telling when supporters start asking out loud, are we better off without our supposed star? And more, the answer seems to be yes. The internet has already turned this narrative into jokes, roasting Reese with brutal nicknames like Vanishing Barbie and Rebound Clown. Harsh? Absolutely. But fans don't invent those nicknames for no reason. They come from frustration, from disappointment, and from a growing sense that Reese is prioritizing her image over her impact. And when a franchise invests its entire future into one player, only to see the team improve when she's absent, that's not just a problem, that's a crisis. But just when it seemed like the criticism couldn't get more cutting, Reese made a move off the court that only added fuel to the fire.
But this is what Angel Reese wanted. She wanted to be the villain. They don't just watch the WNBA because of one player, that one player being the Caucasian chick, Caitlin Clark. They watch it because of Me Too.
If there was still any doubt about where Angel Reese's priorities lie, the sneaker circus erased it. Instead of letting her game speak for her, Reese went all in on promoting her Reebok line, hyping it as if she were the second coming of Michael Jordan. She even compared her shoes to Jordan's, a statement so out of touch it had fans and analysts shaking their heads. A player averaging 14 points on one of the worst teams in the league was now putting herself in the same sentence as the GOAT. The timing made it even worse. While her team was sinking to the bottom of the standings, Reese was front and center in promo shoots, hyping sneaker launches, and staging PR events. One of the boldest stunts? She took her Reebok promo tour right into Indiana, Caitlin Clark's backyard. Instead of facing Clark on the court, where the rivalry might have actually mattered, she showed up to flex sneakers and photo ops. For fans, it felt like the ultimate insult. More effort for a brand deal than for a basketball game. And here's the kicker. When her back was supposedly too hurt to travel with the Sky for rivalry matchups, somehow it wasn't too hurt for chartered trips tied to endorsements. Perfectly fine for Reebok, mysteriously unavailable for Chicago. That's the kind of inconsistency that drives fans crazy. Reese wanted to be seen as the villain, the disruptor, the one who brought attention to the league, but instead she's turned herself into a punchline. Every promo, every exaggerated claim, every staged moment chips away at the little credibility she has left. And when you combine that circus with her spotty performances and disappearing acts, the public perception starts to feel cemented. Angel Reese isn't building a legacy on the court, she's building one on Instagram. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is doing what matters, winning games, carrying her team, and proving she's the real draw. But the fallout doesn't stop at shoe launches and PR stunts. Public patience is wearing thin, and the narrative around Angel Reese is collapsing fast.
After the game, she said it was ugly, very ugly for me, but I tried to push through as much as I could for my teammates because I know they need me out there. Okay. It's not clear what the disconnect is between Reese and the organization, but her comments revealed that the recovery process did not go smooth. Exactly what's going on, because they could not find anything, right? Maybe the MRI came back and it was like, we don't see anything. Maybe, just maybe, anybody who knows sports, anybody with a set of eyeballs at work, could see that Angel Reese was full of it.
By this point, it's no longer just a few critics calling out Angel Reese. It's the entire conversation surrounding her. The media narrative has split wide open, and the verdict from fans, analysts, and even legends of the game is brutal. Caitlin Clark is the fighter, and Reese is the faker. Look at the way Clark carries herself. She plays through legitimate injuries, travels with her team even when sidelined, signs autographs, and engages with fans. She embraces the responsibility of being the face of a franchise. That builds trust. That builds respect. And it's why Clark is not just surviving under the spotlight, she's thriving in it. Now compare that to Reese. She skips rivalry games. She hides behind vague injury claims. She ghosts her own team when things get tough. And when she does finally make a return, it feels staged, like the time she magically suited up just because her grandmother was in the stands. Not for her team, not for the fans. For a family photo op, that kind of behavior doesn't inspire confidence. It erodes it. The fans have already started drawing their own conclusions. Ratings tell the story loud and clear. When Clark and Reese went head-to-head on ABC, the game drew 1.3 million viewers, the lowest rated primetime matchup since both entered the league. That's not excitement, that's fatigue. Without Clark carrying the hype, nobody is tuning in for Reese. The WNBA can push the rivalry all it wants, but fans have already decided who matters. And the final nail in the coffin, the growing sense that the Chicago Sky might actually be better off without her. From locker room whispers to fan chants, from Lisa Leslie's rankings to Jeff P's public criticism, the tide has turned. Reese isn't being framed as the future anymore. She's being framed as a liability. At the end of the day, perception in sports can make or break a career. Clark is building a reputation of resilience and professionalism. Reese is building one of excuses and clout chasing. And once the public locks in on an image, it's almost impossible to rewrite it. Which leaves one final question: how will this story end?
The NBA got rid of Liz Cambage, who is far more better than Angel Reese. I don't get what Angel Reese has over the WNBA. I don't get what Angel Reese has over the organization. But if they were smart, they would do what they needed to do. Angel Reese, in my opinion, has been given a lot of time and opportunities to show the world that she can indeed play basketball. And for her to be labeled as the best player on the team really says a lot about the roster.
Angel Reese entered the WNBA as the Bayou Barbie, hyped as a once-in-a-generation star who would lead the Chicago Sky into a new era. But the reality has been nothing close. Season after season, she's vanished when it mattered most. From rookie year wrist injuries, to ghosting the unrivaled league playoffs, to the never-ending day-to-day back issues this season. It's a cycle of excuses, absences, and missed opportunities. Instead of becoming the face of a franchise, she's become the face of controversy. She's been sued by her own team, shaded by her general manager, mocked by fans, and downgraded by legends of the game. The so-called rivalry with Caitlin Clark has turned into a humiliation reel, with Clark stacking wins while Reese stacks explanations. And while the Sky sink in the standings, Reese thrives only on Instagram, sneaker launches, and carefully timed photo ops. She wanted to be the villain, but villains are supposed to be powerful. Right now, she looks more like a distraction, a player whose absence actually helps her team play better. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Clark is the fighter. Reese is the faker. Clark is building trust in the WNBA. Reese is eroding it every time her name appears next to day-to-day. And fans aren't blind. They've already made their choice about who matters. So where does that leave Angel Reese? Not as the face of the league, not as the rival to Clark, but as a cautionary tale. A player who had all the hype, all the attention, and all the opportunity, and traded it for clout and chaos. And here's the truth. The league can sell the rivalry, but fans know better. Caitlin Clark is the future. Angel Reese is just the distraction. Subscribe now, because if Angel Reese's career has taught us anything, it's that the next meltdown is always right around the corner, and you won't want to miss it.